Hey y'all, Galactica here. I decided that I'm going to throw away all of my dignity and create a video game. I mean, it can't be that hard, right? I'm going to start right now. Well, that was a mistake. So yeah, I decided I'm going to start working on a ROBLOX game because, well, why not? But of course that answer isn't sufficient for you, so I'm going to lay down a chronological timeline of everything I've done so far, as well as some plans for the future. So, here we go. Late June 2022. I finally decided to download Blender, and the first thing I made on it was, of course, a British Rail Class 55 Deltic. At the time, I wasn't necessarily planning on making a game, but I was modeling to familiarize myself with the program, as well as to prepare myself for the upcoming art fight in July. I then also looked up a Class 20 as well. At this point, I remembered that you can import Blender models into ROBLOX, and well, I had an idea. I was going to make a train simulator. I watched some tutorials on YouTube and created a working prototype. So at first, I was going to use a track and glider system. All of the tutorials recommended using a model called Vehicle C2 for it. I have no idea why. From what I can tell, the only thing it really does is have this weird auto-wheeled script. So I followed the tutorial and ended up with this beautiful thing. But I need to go bigger. So I imported my Class 20 model and, well, you may have noticed a problem. The tutorial I followed, and all the ones on YouTube as far as I can tell, were for locomotives that had one set of wheels, like steam engines. However, most diesels and electrics, like ones I'm using, have multiple sets of wheels called bogies. I thought that I could just put two Vehicle C2s together, but unfortunately this made the train really stiff. So I just used one really long one, and this is the result. Now that I had a prototype working, I started work on the game proper. I created a model for the Class 121 and then fitted the driving system to it. The bumping was really bad and I didn't like how you had to hold down W to move, so I looked at the ROBLOX documentation and used a linear velocity that I controlled with a script using a screen GUI. There's still some bumping, but it's not as bad as it was before. I created a model of the station that didn't look too great, but it was fine for now. But it was now July, and that meant that art fight was occurring. I decided to focus on it instead, and kinda forgot this project existed. I did nothing over the course of July, and didn't really start back up until around mid-August, when school started. The thing that got me back into creating the game, oddly enough, was that I started to create a soundtrack for it, which I'm now playing in the background for you right now. I also remodeled the Class 121 and decided to start working on the scenery, and partly rebuilt the station as well as create a store that references my friend DXL. At this point, it was now late August and I came to a realization. So my school does this thing called CAS in place of regular PE because it's part of a special program. We need to do a certain amount of hours of community service, activity, and the one that applies here, creativity. So now I decided that I would use this game development for my creativity hours and use it as a motivator. So now that I was keeping track of my hours, the first thing I did is replace the noises for the Class 121. Before they used sound effects created by Armstrong and Powerhouse, meaning that they were probably copyrighted and I'd prefer not to use them. So I instead got some sounds from some YouTube videos. I then followed up by creating the rest of the scenery around the station. I also got an idea that would either be really cool or really clunky, that being to lean heavily into the early 1980s aesthetic and make the main menu be an old computer that you actually had to type commands into to do stuff. I created a computer model based on the Commodore PET and put it in the game. I also used a Surface GUI with a script for the command prompt. This isn't going to be too crazy with only a few commands. I then created a room to put the computer in, and this was the final result. This is the current version of the game right now, which means I'll now talk about the future. First off, I'm going to finish the main menu, which should be simple enough. After that, I'd probably finish the interior of the station, but I might push that back and save visual updates for later. After that, I'm going to improve the train driving system. Right now, it still has remnants from Vehicle C2, despite the fact that it doesn't need it anymore, and it makes it hard to create rolling stock. Removing Vehicle C2 would make creating rolling stock way easier. After that, the last thing I have on my important to-do list is to create track switches and signals, which I'm really dreading creating because I have no idea how I do it. thank you all for watching. I know this is a different style of video than what I normally make. Please let me know what you thought down below, and I'll see you all next time.